We know the Trump regime is made up of sore losers, including the biggest sore loser at the top. Well, now after the interim United States attorney for New Jersey, Alina Habba, was removed because her statutory time period of being the United States attorney in Jersey expired, and the group of federal judges who could have voted to keep her on voted against keeping her on. What is the Justice Department doing? Well, Pam Bondi and her deputy, Todd Blanche, have put out statements now saying that they have fired the first assistant United States attorney, who is basically put in place to be the new interim United States attorney with Alina Habba gone. So they've just destroyed the life or the career of a career prosecutor who's worked at the office since 2016. Through no fault of her own, Donald Trump appointed Alina Habba to be the interim United States attorney, someone with no experience, one of the worst lawyers in America, period. Someone who's been sanctioned over $1 million based on bringing frivolous lawsuits, somebody who we observed during the Trump trials. She didn't know how to cross-examine people. And the federal judge in the E. Jean Carroll case was like, have you ever learned how to be a lawyer? Like, do you know how to even ask questions or how to do direct exam or cross-exam? Didn't know the rules of evidence. She's shown a complete lack of judgment as the United States attorney, maliciously went after the mayor of Newark and then dismissed that case and then brought charges against a Democratic congresswoman for being at an ICE facility. I mean, the judges think that, and rightfully so, that Alina Habba is an absolute joke. But the fact that they have to be so vindictive and fire the career prosecutor, Desiree Grace, someone who gave her life, who's not a political person, just literally a qualified human being who gets the role because there has to be somebody leading the office for an interim period of time while Habba's gone. So they fire Desiree Grace and ruin her career as a way of saying, you're going to take Habba, we're going to take Desiree Grace. That just shows you the pettiness of these people. Here's what Pam Bondi posted. United States Attorney Habba has been doing a great job in making New Jersey safe again. Nonetheless, politically minded judges refused to allow her to continue in her position, replacing Alina with the first assistant. Accordingly, the first assistant United States attorney in New Jersey has just been removed. This Department of Justice does not tolerate rogue judges, especially when they threaten the president's core Article 2 powers. Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's former criminal defense attorney, now the number 2 at the DOJ, says the district judges in New Jersey just proved that this was never about law. It was about politics. They forced out Trump's pick, United States Attorney Habba, then installed her deputy, colluding with New Jersey senators along the way. It won't work. Pursuant to the president's authority, we have removed that deputy effective immediately. This backroom vote will not override the authority of the chief executive. You had, by the way, Senator Cory Booker and Senator Andy Kim of New Jersey post, I respect the district court's decision today to exercise its authority to appoint a new United States attorney for the District of New Jersey and congratulate Desiree Grace, who has served as a prosecutor in the office since 2016 on her appointment. The people of New Jersey deserve a United States attorney who will enforce the law without fear or favor, always in pursuit of the public interest and guided by the principles of impartiality and fairness. Senator Kim wrote, I'm grateful to see that New Jersey's district court judges succeeded in appointing Desiree Grace as New Jersey's U.S. attorney. I hope to see her exercise the same judgment and reason in this new position. New Jersey deserves someone who will be thoughtful and measured. Just so you can all see Alina Habba whining about it, here's what she had to say. Let's play the clip.
Well, my reaction to those comments is very simple. I believe in separation of powers. You are not allowed to influence or try to influence the judiciary and federal judges. You are not allowed to use open investigations to intimidate. You are not allowed to tell a U.S. attorney, frankly, prior that if you cross a red line, you will find out, Sean. But that is the behavior that we are seeing. It is inappropriate. It is obstruction. It is wrong. wrong. You can't do it. And the separation of powers is so important because it prevents tyranny. It's exactly what we're not supposed to see. You should not be directing federal judges to reject. I was appointed by Pam Bondi. I was nominated by President Trump. They have no business interfering with the federal bench in the state of New Jersey. And we're seeing a stall tactic with the.
So let's bring in Harry Litman, former United States attorney, former top official in the Justice Department. Harry, even her whining right there, is to me disqualifying. There is a bar investigation also looking into her representation of a woman who sued one of Trump's golf courses for sexual harassment. And apparently Habba befriended this person and then acted kind of like a quasi lawyer and then got this person to settle. And then the person was like, why did I, gave tax, according to the person, gave like tax advice and the person relied on. And it was a whole big no-no right there. But, what do you think of if you're the federal judges now in Jersey and they're attacking the bench? This is just unprecedented conduct by this fascist Trump regime.
Yeah, and so Habba's remarks are so telling. Separation of powers, that's exactly wrong. This is, as they've done again and again, just ignoring the law. There's a legal regime out there, and when the interim's appointment comes to an end, it is just the power of the court to appoint. There's a lot of good reasons why they have it, a lot of good reasons why you might think they would be serving justice more, and they'd be looking there, and they know the assistants there, and they know who can be appointed. But the main thing is, it's the law, this thing they're calling so extraordinary. Now, maybe they are preparing for some kind of challenge to that law, saying, Article 2 doesn't permit doesn't permit Congress to do what it did, namely saying when there are certain vacancies, the judges decide. But this is a total Habba turns it on his hand. And by the way, let me say, you've said all these things about Habba that are questionable. The number one thing, this is a woman who said, I've never heard a U.S. attorney do anything like this. When she took office, let's see if I can use this office to help turn New Jersey red. It's, the most, it's like if you sort of put it into a computer and said, what's the most nasty, not partisan, not what a U.S. attorney is supposed to say, that would be it. So the judges are understandably resistant to having her in there, and they are totally within their rights, as the rights have always extended. But now what you see is not just tit for tat. The administration is basically saying, anyone you put in, we are going to fire. And you're right. It's just, it's a total, they're doing this now repeatedly. We just saw them do it to Maureen Comey in the Southern District of New York, but they've never been allowed to. They're just throwing their weight around. So they're saying, whoever you put in, if we have to go to the last person in the office that you choose instead of Habba, we'll fire that person and just completely eviscerate it. So it's just a straight kind of tug of war, and no administration, in my experience, has ever done anything like it. What it really is a total resistance to and declaration of war against the legal scheme that permits judges in certain instances to appoint acting United States attorneys. And they exercising that lawful authority, you can well understand why Alina Habba, who among other things has no experience, doesn't know the office, is looking to politicize it, is just not who the judges want to see in there. They want to see someone in there who's going to call it straight, who can be relied on to run a professional office. That ain't Alina Habba. So there's just nothing unusual or surprising about what they've done. But the counter moves by the administration, just the raw brass knuckles. As you say, this woman what did she do wrong? She's just been a good career servant in that office for almost 10 years. For that reason, they just sack her just because they're in a pissing match with the judges. It's really raw.
I think all of we know that Trump is trying to pull the Senate back to confirm other judges. Like Trump is now making a big push to now put in judges who look very different than his first term judges. His first term judges, by and large, you would despise their policies, not you, me, and their judicial philosophy. But you'd look back and go, at least these people were qualified for the job, and they at least understand the separation of powers, what Alina Habba said, except actually get the separation of powers. And you wouldn't believe that they would support, January 6th insurrections or things like that. There was exceptions like Judge Eileen Cannon, who was appointed when Donald Trump was a lame duck, and a few others. But by and large, experienced people. That's why we always report a Trump appointed judge issued an injunction against Trump. A Trump appointed judge. Just the message, though, that this sends to the judiciary, where they're just saying, we hate, what the Trump regime is saying, we hate judges. And we're doing this to give you the middle finger. We don't like the idea of a judiciary, and we're going to be vindictive about it and ruin people's lives that we can around you judges. By the way Donald Trump would do that to judges during his cases. What was Trump's go-to playbook?
Yeah.
That blanche countenance. Go after the judge's wife, the sons, the family members, post things about them in public so that the family gets doxxed, and then that pushes the judge away. I'll give you the final word.
Yeah, look, it is so much of a theme here. They've come in with a blueprint, literally Project 2025, that just wants to assert that they have power to do anything that comes within a whiff of the executive branch, but they are completely forgetting that, or at least people like Alina Habba, there's laws here that they're just violating. Now, they might want to put them to a test or whatever, but the nastiness, the vindictiveness, we're going to win no matter what. That kind of Trump mindset is just antithetical to what should be happening at a well-run Department of Justice. They could try to put her in, nominate, confirm, etc. She might not make it. But if she doesn't, going around the legal regime to kind of stick her in and just get involved in this no holds barred brass knuckles battle that, as you say, the immediate casualties are the best people in the office. That is just contempt for the Department of Justice and ready to subordinate it for whatever Trump wants to do to win, and now install another of his lackeys whose main claim to fame is she worked for him on the defense side.
Harry Litman, Talking Feds YouTube, Talking Feds Substack, Talking Feds podcast, where you could find Harry's breakdowns. It's where I get my legal news from. You just search Talking Feds. Thanks, Harry.
Hey, thank you, Ben. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.